Hi, in this video, I'm going to talk about more the Instagram and the group chats because I feel the old group chat with me and Finn and Roman, sadly, it got hijacked by Naylor and his friends. One of them was called Finley. Now, this is why, you see, I don't really let anyone else be the admin apart from myself because I know the risks and I know that it is a very serious thing, to get to trust somebody with this role because they more than likely are going to abuse it. Also, I was watching a few videos on Instagram as well. I mean, it's not that they showed you how to make someone else admin, which I already knew from long. I knew that, but the point is that it's a very risky system in my opinion because if you do make someone admin, then you have to be 100% sure that you can trust them at any time because it's very easy for them to either take it directly or indirectly, or someone else asks for it, and then it goes, someone hacks into them and takes it away. There's so many possibilities. Or a friend uses their phone and, de-admins you, manages to give someone else admin who removes you. As I said, there's many possibilities that can happen. So I think the safest thing for me is if you know no one else got admin because it's really risky and I've lost four group chats already. Two of them were with Finn indirectly because he claims he was hacked by some F1 guy and then maybe his friend used his phone or whatever. Something happened for him to lose, for him to give the admin role away to one of his friends. And then the No Swim Monkey God claimed that Finn gave him, but maybe Finn didn't, but maybe one of his friends used his phone, or he gave them the password or something. I mean, so he's still indirectly responsible for me losing the group chats. And there was two very important group chats, and now the third one was, well, someone tricked me, as I said, this guy called Finley, who but to be fair, he did really appear very genuine. And what I did is I made him promise on Lord Shiva's life that he wouldn't give admin away. So sort of he broken that contract with God, and I've heard rumours that he's died. I don't know if it's true, but look, if it's happened, then obviously he's responsible for this because he's literally signed a death contract. And this is, but this is good in a way for me because it serves as a very strong warning, that it would hopefully deter other people from asking because they know what's at stake, you know. It is not given, without, it's a life or death responsibility basically. So now if you're going to ask for the admin, well then your life is at stake because if ever I lose it, then that's a contract between you and God that you've broken, so you will be severely punished. And even if you don't, die like this, Finley was mocking me. I remember because it was just the day after Christmas, New Year's Day, so the 1st of January 2025. And he started mocking me and he was saying, "Oh, well, how come I'm not dead yet?" And I thought the curse was meant to work. Well, see, God doesn't work like that necessarily. Sometimes the curse may take many months, weeks, even, I mean, it's all up to God how He punishes you, when He punishes you, and the extent of the punishment, the karma. Like I went over in the other videos on Instagram, that you've created really bad karma, and doesn't mean that just because the karma's not happening at the moment that it won't happen, because it's like action reaction, Newton's law of gravity as well, that there will be a reaction for every action that you do. So he was really daft in the sense that he didn't understand, or he pretended to understand, and he kept sort of gloating over it. So I thought, well, this is just getting ridiculous. Now, at one point, I was considering just coming out of the group chat as well, but then realized, well, do I really want to lose all this data? All the chat history, the memories, because sadly, we see when you come out of the group chat, then all the data's gone. Whereas if someone removes you, you can still see the chat history. I mean, it's still bad in the sense you can't really contribute or remove anyone, but at least you can see the pictures and the videos and whatever, good or bad, so you don't lose your chat history. So I was really like, it was really getting to the point where I was like seriously contemplating, is this really worth staying, even at the cost of losing, keeping, I should say, the chat history and whatnot. But the guy actually did me a favor because he removed me. I think the second time he removed me, and then I was thinking, well, actually, maybe there's a way to still, not come out then, because if I'm removed, that means technically, they can't abuse me anymore in the group chat. They can still talk about me or not, but they're not having me like a hostage in there. So what I did then, I just blocked all the people in the group chat so that I couldn't be added back. So that does damage limitation. And then I was thinking, well, now they're all blocked, so at least I don't have to worry about being added back. And I thought, well, actually, maybe this is a good solution. And then, the curse hopefully will take effect, and, he would be gone. And it sort of happened because he tried to invite me on the other account, but I didn't obviously join, and he's blocked anyway on, the main one. So, none of them can add me back. And the ones that came out, I sort of unblocked them on the other account. So I'm in no danger of being added back from them, and they're out. Now, hopefully, they'll stay out. So, you see, now the only way that it's still going to be difficult to get the admin role back, because someone has to get it back from Naylor, and then he's got to be out of that group chat. And that's going to be very difficult because he's created like two or three different accounts, and he's put himself as admin on the two or three accounts. So, they'll all have to be removed, and the person in there would have to invite me and then make me the admin. But I, I really don't know if it's going to happen. I've heard someone called Joey say that he can make it happen, but we'll see. And then he said, "Can I be admin if he proves his loyalty to me?" Well, again, it's it's a matter of life or death commitment, and I don't want to be responsible for anyone else, getting that sort of really terrible karma onto them. So I would say be really, really careful, and just maybe let's not go that far yet. I mean, the only one that hasn't let me down is Roman, because for the year plus that he was, working with me and Finn as admin, we never had any problems, and there's no one that hacked into him, and he said he had 2FA enabled, so there was no chance that anyone was going to get into his account. So, I felt really safe with Roman being the admin. And he's the only one, but he's gone on a detox break, I've been told, for like 4 or 5 months. So he can't, well, he hasn't been on Instagram for a while. But, I think he needs a break himself. I think the stress must have done him in. So it's good in a way he's having a break. But he'll be absolutely sort of shocked as to what's happened in the group chat. And it's ironic, this Finley guy was sort of mocking him as well. And he was saying, oh, I've heard he's died. I spoke to his mum, making false rumours. So, he's paid a heavy price now. As I said, it's been over 3 months and I haven't heard from anyone else. I spoke to Leo and, as I said, Joe. Leo's said he's really mad with the group. But you see, Leo got sort of tricked into this too because he believed Naylor and he was sort of lured into this sort of thing with them being no swear for 40 years, etc. But I realised something was wrong and I told him not to trust this Naylor. But I believe Naylor must have blackmailed this Finley or something. I would really like to see their chat history, the DMs, because it seemed like there was something really wrong that he set him up for this. But I mean, it's not, well, it's serious obviously, but it's not like really, really super important now, I suppose, because they're no longer there. Well, at least Finley, to the best of my knowledge. But you see, I don't know if what they're saying is 100% true because, they're potential trolls and it could be that Naylor just made this rumour up about Finley being dead. He's not really. Or whatever the case, as I said, it's not really, either way, it doesn't really affect me that much in a bad way because he's not there to troll. And I suppose he's been banned from Instagram and they know about this behavior again. I'm not sure, but I did get a message saying that his account was removed. So I would assume that they took it seriously and they took action on his account. Again, I can't say 100% what happened because then suddenly it seemed to come back. So he must have appealed or something, but then it got banned again. So I don't know what's going on, but at least I'm relieved that he's not there because he's really pain in the neck. But you see, I've learnt as well, even when someone does take this sort of promise, this oath to Lord Shiva, then even then. But as I said, I mean, I don't really feel too well. Obviously, there was a little bit of anxiety, but there was sort of that insurance that look, this is on him now. That I'm sort of covered in a way that I don't have to really stress out about it. In the sense that if it goes, then his life is in danger, and if it stays, then obviously he's living to the contract. So it's fine in that sense that I'm fine, I'm protected, he's protected. So, but I mean, obviously, it still came as a shock when I found out that night because, you still expect the people that you work with and trust to be loyal and to respect you and God. But obviously, he didn't, and he's probably found out the hard way. And as I said, the karma as well must have got him. But as I said, well, we're going to work gradually on building things up in the group chats. I know most of them have been inactive for a long time, but as I said, it's always about quality with me, and if we're going to get the group chats active, it has to be active in a good way, not, with these dirty trolls and, spamming and everything. Okay, well, that was just a very detailed sort of stuff on Instagram and group chats and how to sort of protect yourself and be careful with this admin role because it's very risky. And as I said, from now on, I will just be not giving it away. As I said, unless someone really puts their life on the line, then, and even then, I mean, it's happened a few times where they've still sort of taken it for granted. But as I said, it's on them, and they will find out the hard way that this would result in severe penalties and and suffering. Okay, well, that's all for now. Okay, I'll see you later. Let's all have a good day. Bye.